You're listening to the Brain versus Me podcast, a show about the moments your brain gets ahead of you, usually before you're ready. Here's your host, Joshua Erickson.
I knew I was depressed when I didn't even want to do the things that used to help me cope, like journaling or drinking coffee or existing. Here's the thing they don't tell you about depression. Sometimes it's not a big, dramatic sadness that hits you all at once. Sometimes it's just forgetting how to be a person. It's sitting there, staring at a show you were obsessed with last week, and realizing you don't have the energy to press play. It's wanting to text someone, but your fingers can't seem to move the way they used to. It's holding a fork, wondering how in the hell eating has turned into a monumental task you're not sure you can finish. Welcome back to Brain vs. Me, the podcast where we overthink everything, emotionally spiral like pros, and pretend to be okay, all before breakfast. I'm your host, Joshua Erickson, and today we're diving into depression. Not the kind that hits you like a freight train. Not the kind that makes you sob into a pint of ice cream while blasting sad playlists on repeat, although I've been there. No, we're talking about the kind that just makes everything feel like static. The kind where you keep moving through life, but it's like you're swimming in molasses. Everything is slow, heavy, and there's no joy in it anymore. The kind where even your coping skills suddenly ghost you, and getting through the day feels like resilience, and more like white-knuckling your way through basic survival. So today, we're going to talk about that type of depression, the quiet, sneaky kind that doesn't make a scene, but still wears you down. We'll explore how it tricks us into thinking we're fine, because we're still getting things done, and why it's okay to admit that you need rest. Because here's the truth. You're not lazy, you're not dramatic, and you're definitely not broken. You're just human, and you deserve to take a break. Let's dive in. There's a version of depression that most people recognize. Sadness, crying, withdrawing from everything, dramatic movie montage vibes. But then there's the other version, the one that doesn't scream for attention. The one where nothing's technically wrong, but everything feels heavy. You're still going to work. You're still answering emails. You're still making dinner. But it all feels like too much. Like you're walking through wet cement. You're technically functioning, but inside, it's just static. You're not sad. You're not emotional. You're just numb, tired, disconnected. And the hardest part, you can't even explain it. It's like you're wearing a fog, and everything feels muffled. Even the things you love. That's the sneaky part of this kind of depression. It doesn't look like the you're not getting out of bed kind. It doesn't demand sympathy. It just quietly convinces everyone, including you, that you are fine. You push through because you have to, because you're good at pretending, but then you stop. And that's when you realize how not fine you really are. You haven't laughed in weeks. You haven't washed your sheets. You don't remember the last time you actually cooked a meal, if meal means even more than something you can microwave. And then you try to do something about it. One of your usual coping skills, you open your journal and stare at the blank page. You go for a walk and come back feeling more exhausted than before. You try deep breathing, but it's just shallow air consumption. It's like everything that used to help us has checked out. And that's when it hits you. You're not just stuck, you're slipping further. The things that were supposed to help us are now just performative. It's like your coping skills went on strike and no one told you. That's the kind of depression we're talking about today. The kind that hides behind fine. The kind that whispers, you're not bad enough to ask for help, while quietly draining you from the inside out. The kind that keeps you going just long enough to look okay, until you don't even know who you are anymore. You ever have someone tell you, but you don't look depressed? Like it's supposed to be some kind of compliment? Meanwhile, you're holding back tears because you just remembered you're supposed to shower again tomorrow. You're exhausted, disconnected, completely drained. But because you showed up to work, folded some laundry, or managed to make a joke at dinner, people assume you're fine. Here's the thing. We have this weird cultural image of depression. Either you're in bed crying into a dark abyss, or you've gotten over it. And we treat those two extremes like they're the only options. But most of the time, it's somewhere in between. You're up, You're dressed, you're functioning. But only because the alternative feels worse than the exhaustion of pretending to be okay. You're not fine, you're just better at hiding it. High functioning depression isn't some special case. It's just depression with a Wi-Fi connection. It's depression that's still trying to play the game even when it's losing. And you know what's even crazier? It tricks you too. Because if you're still doing the things, if you're still showing up, it's easy to invalidate your own pain. You think, I'm just tired. Or, everyone feels like this sometimes. Or, I don't want to bother anyone. It's not that bad. You convince yourself it's just a slump. You tell yourself you should be able to push through. You should be grateful you have a job, a family, a house. But here's the truth. It's not just a slump. It's waking up already feeling behind. It's a mental fatigue that makes even rest feel like work. It's doing everything right and still feeling wrong. And it's loud. It's quiet. It's insidious. But it's still real. And you still deserve to take up space. You still deserve support. No one should have to look a certain way to be in pain. And if you're listening to this and thinking, that's me, know that you're not alone. You know it's bad when even your favorite things start to feel like chores. Coffee doesn't hit like it used to. Music sounds flat. Journaling feels pointless. And therapy, well, now you're just recycling the same 5 emotional spirals like a greatest hits playlist for sad people. This is part of the depression no one talks about, the coping collapse. It's not that you're refusing to help yourself. It's not that you're lazy or giving up. It's that your brain is in energy saver mode, and even the things you know are good for you now feel like climbing a mountain in quicksand. It's frustrating, isn't it? Because you know these things are supposed to help. You know that writing it out or going for a walk should lift you up, but instead, it's just more weight on your shoulders. And of course, when this happens, the guilt starts rolling in. You think, why can't I just do the thing? Or, I used to be able to just push through. What's wrong with me now? And that voice, it's loud. It's insistent. But here's the truth. Nothing's wrong with you. Coping skills aren't magical. They're not guarantees. They're tools. And sometimes, on the bad days, in the hard seasons, even the best tools don't work. Sometimes what we need isn't another strategy, another technique, or a new hack to make everything feel better. Sometimes what we need is permission. Permission to stop trying so hard. Permission to rest. Permission to feel like whatever you're feeling, even if it's not something you can change today. We need permission to let the day be hard. And we need to stop making it mean something about who we are. Depression lies. It tells you that if your coping skills aren't working, it's your fault. It tells you that you're broken, that you're not trying hard enough, that you're lazy. But the truth is, you're still here. You're still trying. And sometimes, that's the win. That's enough. You're not failing because you can't keep up. You're surviving. And that's stronger than you realize. Here's the thing we don't talk about enough. We've all been told that healing is supposed to be this neat, linear process. First, you're not okay. Then, you're getting better. Then, poof, you're fixed. There's this pressure to move through it quickly, as if we should be able to check off milestones, speed through the process, and suddenly feel fine. But when you're living with depression, there's no roadmap. There's no clear destination. There's no simple okay to get to. And yet society keeps pushing us to get there faster. Like there's a deadline we miss. Everywhere you look, people seem to be healing on their own timeline, moving from struggle to recovery like it's a straight line. Meanwhile, you're stuck in this maze of exhaustion and confusion, wondering why it's so hard for you to bounce back. It's not that you don't want to get better. It's not that you're giving up. It's that you can't force it. And that's the hardest part. You see people around you who seem to have it all together. They're moving forward, crossing off goals, getting back to normal. And you start to wonder if something's wrong with you because you're still sitting in the muck of it all, unable to get up. That pressure to heal fast enough to get back to that better version of yourself starts to eat at you. You start feeling like you're doing it wrong, like you're not trying hard enough, like maybe, just maybe, there's something wrong with you for not being able to keep up with everyone else. And here's where depression plays its cruel game. It makes you feel like you're failing, but it doesn't give you the tools to break free. You think, I should be grateful I'm still working, still showing up. But you're too tired to even feel that gratitude. And when you don't get better the way others expect, you feel like you've let them down. You feel like you've let yourself down. You think, why can't I just be normal? Why can't I heal like everyone else? But the truth is, there's no normal. There's no standard. There's no perfect recovery timeline that works for everyone. Because healing isn't a race. It's not something you can force, something you can speed through just to get over it. It's yours. And it's okay that it doesn't look like anyone else's journey. The pain that comes from this pressure, it's not just in the struggle itself. It's in the guilt we feel for not being better when others expect us to be. It's in the comparison. It's in the constant wondering why we can't just move on. It's the belief that we're somehow failing, when all we're really doing is surviving. So listen to me. You're not failing because you're not fixed. You're surviving. And sometimes surviving is the bravest thing you can do. You're not broken. You're just on your own timeline. And that's okay. Listen, small wins still count. When you're in the thick of it, healing feels like a scam. You try all the things: sleep, hydration, deep breathing, therapy homework, and you still feel like garbage. You can't shake the thought, maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. But here's the truth. Trying at all is enough, especially when you're running on fumes. Making it to your appointment, that's a win. Microwaving food instead of skipping a meal, win. Responding to one message you've been avoiding on your phone all day, huge win. Realizing you need rest instead of powering through, that's not weakness, that's growth. I know it's hard to see when you're in the middle of it, but depression doesn't erase your progress. It just makes it harder to see. It tells you that you're stuck, that you haven't come far enough, that you're not doing enough. But here's what depression won't tell you. The fact that you're still here, still fighting, still trying, that means everything. The fact that you're listening to this episode right now, that means something. It means part of you still wants to feel okay. Part of you still wants to get better. Part of you still believes that there's a version of you on the other side of this fog. And you know what? That part of you, that's the part we're rooting for. That's the part that's going to get you through. You don't have to be better right now. You don't have to feel fixed. All you have to do is keep moving, however slowly, because even small steps forward are still steps forward. And that's how healing happens, bit by bit, day by day, even when you can't see it's happening. So when you feel like you've hit a wall, when it seems like nothing is working, remember, you're still showing up. You're still trying. And that's all that matters. Let me wrap this up for you. If you're feeling heavy right now, I see you. Depression doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it quietly steals the color from everything. But that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to be bad enough to deserve support. You don't have to do anything more than just survive today. And if even that feels impossible, just know this. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're just tired. And tired people need care, not shame. If this episode resonates with you, if you're struggling, or if you just need someone to listen, I'm here. You can reach out to me on Twitter at The Brain vs. Me or leave a comment on my website. Please know, I believe in you. I hear you. I see you. You're not alone. Thanks for listening to Brain vs. Me. If this episode hit home, share it with someone who needs to feel less alone or ADHD spiral, or just needs a good laugh about productivity shame. You can find all episodes, blog posts, and updates at brainvsme.com, or follow along on Twitter at thebrainvsme.com. Next week on Brain vs. Me, we're diving into therapy, not as a quick fix, but as a powerful mirror that forces us to face the uncomfortable truths we sometimes don't want to see. I'll share why therapy isn't a shortcut to getting better, and how it's really about facing the messy, raw, and often painful process of growth. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. And as always, remember to be kind to yourself. You deserve it.
Thanks for listening to the Brain vs. Me podcast. If you enjoyed this and want to keep up, follow or subscribe to the show. You can leave a comment, ask a question, or share the episode wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show or explore Joshua Erickson's books and writing, visit brainvsme.com.